So take a seat and enjoy the little tips and the encouraging story. Welcome, Esther.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
So here's a short excerpt from our book Bag of Nerves to Success. I needed a no. This was a turning point for me. I knew that I had behaved so badly. They were not going to offer me midwifery training. When I have wanted something, I have not allowed anything to stop me, and I have never given up on a good idea. All right. So, more.
Well, after my general nurse training in the beginning of 1974, I went to work at a mission hospital, St. Paul's Hospital in Lupane. And there I encountered a lot of midwifery situations. We used to do outreaches, and I could remain in charge of the hospital when the doctor was regularly away, like in Bulawayo, for 2-3 days. So I felt I actually needed midwifery training. But when this was, because they used to say after a year of experience as a general nurse, you can get into training. So when my year was up, I applied for midwifery training, but they declined. I asked the doctor that was in charge of St. Paul's, how come? She says, I'm also surprised and disappointed because I've given you such a good recommendation for midwifery training. So knowing that, yes, the recommendation was positive from the doctor and I'm wanting, and they are saying no, as I say, when I'm challenged, I had the courage to actually go to Ministry of Health, to ask them, to quiz them why they were doing that. You know, there would be this like stereotyping, like the norm was to take, they told me that they would take government employees. They were taking government employees first for midwifery training, whereas I was in a, so I saw that being quite, it was not making sense to me because I am the one that was in a rural area needing to help maternity patients. And they would take a nurse from a male medical ward, let's say at Impilo, for midwifery training. Then when they are trained, they are going back to the same male medical ward. So it didn't make sense. So I virtually told them off. You know, situations like that, it's as if I didn't have the bag of nerves. Because then I could speak up. So I told them off that what they were doing was not making sense. They were training people who were not in need, whereas I was in need. So my behavior, I realized for myself, when I did self-assessment, I realized that I had really behaved so badly. And I can't expect them to take me for midwifery training after me telling them off. So that's what prompted me to apply because, like, as you say, I was not going, it was a good idea to do midwifery training. And I was not going to give up on that good idea because there is thinking by Ministry of Health that government employees first. That's what prompted me into applying for midwifery training overseas.
Wow. So you say cause is in the future. And with that statement in mind, what challenges have you encountered?
In private practice, there have been a lot of challenges. You just have to be strong. So for me, it's been the quality service, but I've been in an opportune place because I'm well trained. Having the training behind my belt and also the experience put me in a very good place. And when you are giving quality service, you can't go wrong. So the issues at the beginning, I still remember when we opened it was a clinic then in 14th Avenue. A lot of other nurses were clamoring for me to be closed down. They complained that she's charging for vaccines. And I kept insisting that I don't charge for vaccines, but I do charge for service. Because I had rent to pay.
Yes.
I had the staff to pay. And but the then chief nursing officer for Bulawayo City Council was extremely supportive. I'm ever so grateful to her because even she would actually tell me when she saw me that, Sister Chamboko, I'm fighting a lot of wars for you. And I knew she was. because the $2 they were uncomfortable. And yet, some years down the line, when they saw that what I was doing was successful, they wanted to come back. They were coming to me to ask how can they do it as well. So when I went overseas, I left my registration intact. So I was able to, because to try and borrow money from, it was like impossible. So like I can tell you, I still remember that the interest rate back then was 250%.
Sure.
Now you couldn't borrow money on those terms. So left with no choice, I decided to go back to UK, United Kingdom, to work for my project. And working on this project, remember, I do say in the book, actually, I explain everything. That when I had an architect draw my plan that I had in mind, I approached one pediatrician, senior pediatrician, whom I thought we could work together. I showed him my plan that this is what I want to do. He laughed. He said, that's impossible. I said, really? So why? He said, no, it takes 3 lifetimes to do something like that. So I said, really? So to him, I said 2 things. I'm not laughing with you, and watch me.
That's it.
So that's how I went overseas. I worked for this building, everything. I continued to build it to the end, to the equipment, without ever borrowing a penny from any institution, anytime, any day.
Wow. So talking about the fortune side of life, it's going to be 1 year since the release of your book. Is there anything that we can look forward to that you have coming up? Any events coming up or?
Yes, good question, because I launched this book, Bag of Nerves to Success, on my 70th birthday. I'm almost 71. On my birthday, we are planning for a tea that I'm wanting to see as, it will be an executive tea. We are dubbing it Health and Wealth Tea.
Oh, love that.
So I invite people to come to this tea. It's an event that one should not really miss, because there will be education there. We plan to teach, there will be inspiration. Because when we talk of health and wealth, I'll be sharing tips on health and also wealth.
Wow.
And we will be showing the idea of practicing what we preach. When we are teaching health, that tea, the sort of tea and the accompaniments for the tea will speak for themselves in terms of health.
Wow, looking forward to that.
So this is going to be on a Friday, my birthday, 31st of March, and from 3 p.m. to 4:30. Don't miss such an opportunity. We plan to have fun.
And on that note, please join us next week for our upcoming episode.
Thank you.